What's good, everybody? Is when I come back at you with another video. So with this video, I want this video to be about treasure, right? For most people on this earth, their treasure is material wealth. It is money, right? That's what most people see and value as treasure, right? Because most people, if they were to get a large sum of it, they believe that it will make them happy, right? That is what a lot of people are after all the time, money, right? And we see it in the movies, the TV shows when we're kids, right? Like the pirate movies, how the pirates are always searching for treasure, and it's always this chest full of gold, right? You have like gold coins, uh, gold necklaces, you have gems like rubies, diamonds, emeralds, etc., etc. Because the pirates on the search, when they find this treasure, right, this is what will make them rich and allow them to live the life that they want, right? So they're constantly on a search. Funny enough, I believe that these movies are created, well, of course, for like entertainment, but I also believe it's also to subconsciously train people to believe that life's treasure is in a far distant land, right? Because you see it all the time in movies where it's like someone's going after something that's super important, and they always go on a long journey far away from where they were at originally to go look for this quote unquote treasure that may or may not exist, but they believe that it's out there. And what I need you to understand is that the treasure that you've been desperately searching for, or that most people have been desperately searching for, is not off in a faraway land, right? The treasure that you've been looking for is within you, right? And it has been within you this entire time. Now, I'm going to share with you guys a story that I've heard. It might be like the Acres of Diamond. I don't really know the exact name of it, but there's a story where there's an owner, you can call him a seller, right? The owner, he owns a plot of land, and he's owns property for some time, but he's heard of a story of a treasure that's out in a far distant land. And so in order to acquire the finances to be able to travel, he sells a plot of land, and with that money he begins his quest across the world to look for the treasure, right? Funny enough, the buyer, the person who purchased the property of land, gets on the property of land and begins digging down and finds the material wealth, right? The treasure that the seller went on a journey to go after was on his plot of land the entire time, but he just never decided to dig down, right? And so the buyer of the land decided to do just that once he got the property and found the treasure that the seller was looking for this entire time. I believe that's the Acres of Diamond stories, like basically explaining that you're standing over your own acres of diamond. Your own plot of land right now has diamonds right under it, and you're standing right above it. And all you have to do to reach the diamonds is simply dig down. That's the same idea with this, right? Most people were led to believe that the money, the material wealth, everything is outside of them. And so in order to acquire it, you have to go on this journey after. You have to chase after it. Well, to chase after money, you're basically accepting that it's not in your possession, that you don't have it, right? You're making that, you're pretty much making that confession. But what you need to understand is that you've had this wealth within you this entire time. Now, let me explain it. Let me dive into a few different ideas and concepts to help break this idea down to you guys, right? So you can know that I'm not just making stuff up, right? First and foremost, what you need to understand is in this moment, in this present moment, this moment of now, there are infinite possibilities that exist. All possibilities exist in this present moment at the same time right now. And I know it sounds crazy to say and crazy to think about, but let me explain, right? Say, for example, yesterday you were angry, right? Say you had a bad day yesterday and you were angry for most of the day. Say today you've been happy, you've been excited, right? And you have a smile on your face the entire time. What you need to understand is yesterday when you were angry, you were angry during the now moment. You were angry during the present moment because yesterday at one point it was the present moment, right? So you were angry in that present moment. Today, right, you've been feeling good. Life has been treating you a lot better. Today was also the present moment, right? So that present moment never changed between yesterday and today. Now, of course, we've probably moved forward in time, technically, right? But the present moment always remains a constant. So what that means is, of course, if we use this example, that a angry version of you and a happy version of you both coexist in the present moment, right? Because even in this moment right now, if let's just say you're neutral right now, you can choose to either feel angry or happy, because that is a choice. That is a choice that you make. The emotion that you feel is, comes from thoughts that you think, right? And you can pick and choose the thoughts that you want to think, right? Or if a thought creeps in of something that's, not ideal, you can change that thought into a better feeling thought, right? So you can control how you feel because you can control your thoughts, right? So because an angry version of you existed yesterday, which is still in the present moment, and a happy version of you existed today in the present moment, that means both of these versions of you exist simultaneously, right? Because you can tap into either of that. So the same way these versions of you exist is the same way a poor version of you exists and a wealthy version of you exists. Now I'm going to break this down. There's a difference between broke and poor. Broke just means you don't have money with you right now. Poor is a mentality that is tied to your mindset, right? Poor people are people who have a lack mindset, right? Basically, emotionally, they're like emotionally void, right? Like they're feeling negative emotions. They're usually angry, frustrated, anxious, worried, concerned, depressed, right? They're feeling these emotions. People who are poor are essentially people who are poor in spirit, right? Because it's like it's mentality, it's spirit, it's everything, right? So these are people that believe that they are victims to the world. These are people that believe they're powerless. These are people that believe that they're at the mercy of of the world around them, right? That they're at the mercy of their environment, that they can't do anything to change themselves or improve the position that they're in, right? That is a poor person, a poor mentality, right? Now that can be changed, of course, right? Someone can begin investing in themselves, read books, grow as a person to change that mindset, but typically that is a poor mindset, right? There's a statistic of normally families that are on welfare are fourth generation welfare recipients, right? That is a poor mindset, right? Because it's a trend, right? You see it's a trend. It continues on, right? And that doesn't happen by accident, right? Now this is not obviously to shame or to like beat anybody up. I'm just explaining to you guys what this is, right? So being broke just means you don't have money. Being poor is you can have all the money in the world in a snap of a finger, and someone who's poor, even with the hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, they can end up being right back in their position again, not having any finances, being homeless, struggling, etc. Because being poor is a mentality, it's a mindset, right? And now there's a poor version of you and a wealthy version of you. The wealthy version of you is one who recognizes their value. You understand who you are and your place in the world. You understand that you are powerful, that you can create your reality, that you can create your set of circumstances, and you can make changes. Something doesn't make you happy, you can make changes to that, right? Someone who has a wealthy mindset is someone who has the right attitude, someone who's happy, someone who's confident, someone who's optimistic, someone who's eager for the future, someone who wants to continue pushing the envelope and shows up with the right attitude, right? Someone who is wealthy is able to recognize the opportunities that exist where they're at, right? Because people who have the poor mentality or the poor mindset, right, they have a negative attitude. They're usually angry, nasty, like you don't want to be around them, right? But these people also believe that there are no opportunities that exist where they presently are in life. And someone with a wealthy mindset will be able to identify and acknowledge that there are opportunities that exist exactly where they are, right? That if you just look hard enough, you can find something. And even if there may not seem to be any opportunity, right? Someone with a wealthy mindset will still go out and still strive to better themselves or learn something new or continue growing, right? So just as though in the present moment, there can be an angry and a happy version of you, because both of those versions exist in the now moment, right? Because the now is a constant. Just like gravity is a constant. It's always happening, right? Gravity doesn't magically turn off, right? That's never happened. So the now moment is also a constant. We're always present in the now moment. We can always operate in the now moment. So same with how there's a happy and an angry version of you, and those two versions exist in the present moment simultaneously, because you can tap into either of those versions of you whenever you want. It's the same idea with the wealth conscious version of you. You can tap into the poor version of you or the wealthy version of you. And the wealthy version of you understands that the treasure has existed with you this entire time since you were born, right? The wealthy version of you understands that you were born rich. Why? Because you can provide so much value to other people on this planet that you can make a difference in the lives of everyone around you, and that you can find happiness in each and every moment from now for the rest of your life, right? That life is all about perspective. You can find the good in everything, right? Oh, the wealthy version of you finds the good in every situation. It's someone who has the right attitude, shows up with the right attitude, right? So this is what I mean when I say the treasure that people have been searching for, right? They think is so far off in a distant land that they have to travel and search for the physical treasure that exists, but the treasure has been within you this entire time. And I have another explanation to further crystallize this idea, right? Think about this. Think about what I'm about to say. Like, truly think about what I'm about to say, because it's not going to be something that I want you to just gloss over, right? Wherever you are watching this video, take a look around you at your surroundings, right? Look around you, especially if you're indoors, right? If you're indoors, it's even better, right? Look around you and look at all the objects and everything that exists within you, or like all around you, right? Everything that you see, with the exception of nature, right? Everything except nature. Everything you see with the exception of nature was created in the mind of man. It was created by someone in their mind up here, right? They use their imagination to create whatever it is that you're looking at, whatever it is that you can touch and taste or whatever, right? It once started off as an idea in someone's mind. They used their mind, they used their imagination, they had an idea, and then whatever it is they had in their mind, they were able to create it and bring it forth to the physical world, right? And I'll give you an example. This pen right here that I'm holding was once created in the mind of someone. They decided that they wanted to create a device that can serve as a tool to write, so then we can communicate with one another, right? Someone created this pen, right? Someone else created this notebook, which is, made from trees because it's filled with paper, right? And then you can write with the pen to write down ideas, communicate, etc., etc. Someone at one point decided to make a plastic water bottle, right? To carry water in it, because otherwise we would have to go to the nearby wells and get water or drink rainwater, or right, like this helps make life simpler for a lot of human beings, right? This camera that I'm speaking into and the microphone that's capturing my audio, it was once a thought in someone's mind. They used their imagination and brought this to life. So everything else that you see, even a glasses case, right? Like I have a glasses case right here, right? I have a wallet, a computer, a mouse, right? A phone, iPhone, right? All of these items were once ideas in the mind of man and created in the imagination to then brought into the physical world. Why is that? Because these items all created value. They all made life easier for human beings. And so when these items were created, of course, they were able to be sold by other humans and purchased, right? So this is how wealth has been created, because wealth is created through value, through providing either product or service, anything that delivers value to another human being. See, oftentimes people get some of this piece of paper money, right? And the focus becomes chasing after money, when you need to understand that first and foremost, if you go out actively chasing money, then you're already accepting that you don't have money. You're admitting that you don't have money, which is not true, because like I mentioned, you were rich this entire time. You were born rich. You have wealth consciousness within you. And just like how the world works and how you see it, right? How everything that we see, with the exception of nature, was created in the mind of man. That means a lot of value, or value itself, generally begins in the mind, right? Because you can think for yourself, you can use imagination, you can help solve people's problems, improve the quality of life for other people, which in turn will generate you wealth. Because what you need to understand is this piece of paper right here, all this represents essentially a certificate that I provided a product or a service, and I was compensated for it, right? They gave me this in exchange for my product or service. So this is essentially a certificate that I provided value to someone. So if you're searching for more of this, then that just means you need to provide more value to other people. And you need to understand that you can create infinite value for people from within, right? Because you have the ability to create. Every single one of these products that you see, these inventions, they were created in someone's imagination, right? You don't ever just like lose imagination. You can never just run out of imagination, right? Like you always have access to that at all times, right? So people tend to look far away and say, oh, the treasure that I want is all over there. The money that I want is all over there. Not understanding that it's been within you this entire time. You want wealth, become wealth, right? Show up as wealth. Show up as that version of you that you want to become. Whether it's the multi-millionaire version of you, the billionaire version of you, what does that person look like? How does that person operate? How does that person walk? How does that person talk? What does that person do, right? You want to generate more wealth, create wealth for more people. And you can do that because you are a creator and you have the ability to create. People with a poor mindset don't believe that they have the power to create. They don't believe they are valuable. They don't believe they have anything to offer. So that is typically why they remain in the same position. But you have access to the wealthy version of yourself. See, in this moment, say for example, things aren't going so well for you, right? In your circumstances, in your environment, things aren't going well for you. In this moment, you can choose to just be sorry for yourself and wallow in your misery and just cry, and just lock yourself in your room and not do anything, right? You can do that. Or you can begin feeling optimistic that better days are ahead. That somehow, some way, even if things may not be looking the best right now, that things will change and they will change fast for you. And you will soon be living the life that you know you're deserving of living, right? You can, either of those two scenarios or possibilities exist, right? You can do either of those options. Which one is better, right? Likely the one where you're showing up as your true self, your best self, and saying, you know what? Regardless of what's been going on back then, regardless of how things are looking right now, I'm still confident in myself and my ability that I can make something happen. I still know that I am the most powerful and valuable creature on the planet. And so it doesn't matter what my set of circumstances look like. It doesn't matter what my conditions look like right now. It doesn't matter, because I can tap into my wealth side, my wealthy version, and begin creating the value, creating the money, right? The money itself, this is simply an effect. This is an effect. The actual cause is you stepping into the wealthy version of you and creating the value. It's you becoming wealth, you becoming money, right? So then it can be attracted to you, right? If you show up as someone that is valuable, right? Someone that can provide value to other people and really lead people in the right way and really solve their problems and really help them and really improve the quality of their life, right? Then you will be seen as someone that is valuable, and money will somehow, some way find itself to you, right? That is the difference. That is the major difference. People will go their whole lives on a search, like pirates on a crew, on a ship, searching for the treasure, searching across the sea, the globe, and may never find it. Why? Because they were tricked to believe that there was treasure that was somewhere in the environment, somewhere external to them, when the entire time the true treasure was internal, right? If you want money, then become money. If you want wealth, then become wealth. Show up as someone with the right attitude. If you right now in this moment were wealthy, you would probably be happy. You would probably be smiling. You would probably be secure. You would probably feel at peace. You would probably hold your head up high. You would probably feel confident knowing that you're doing well for yourself and that everything's taken care of. Anything and everything from like your family members, from your friends, anything they need, that all of it's taken care of, right? But for many of you watching this video, you may not be feeling that way right now. That is the major disconnect, right? So if you want to begin changing things in your life, you need to tap into the correct energy in order to attract those events to you. You want wealth, become wealth, right? You don't have to go on this search, right? That's why they say investing in yourself is the greatest investment you can ever make, because that is when you begin tapping into the true treasure, which has been yourself this entire time. So I just want to highlight once again with the main idea of this video, right? The treasure you have been desperately searching for most people, they've been told it is material wealth. They've been told it's like gold, that you have to just work hard and you have to go hunt for it and you have to find it. When this entire time, it's been within you all along. So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we are on the road to 1 million subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Joel and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.